Introducing first, in the red corner, the challenger from Brooklyn, New York. He weighed in at 138.5 pounds. White trunks, red and green trim. Professional record and excellent 26 victories. Only 3 defeats and 5 knockouts. Please welcome former World Junior Welterweight Champion, Paulie, the Magic Man, Malignaggi. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to us tonight from Houston, Texas. He weighed in at 138.5 pounds and wears light blue trunks. Professional record, 35 victories, only 2 defeats, and 17 knockouts. Please welcome the reigning and defending NABO Junior Welterweight Champion, Juan, the Baby Bull Diaz. Our referee, Gino Rodriguez, has our fighters' instructions.
One. Ollie, all right. Okay, guys, come on. Okay, you got your instructions. Obey my commands. Protect yourself. Good luck. Touch him up.
All right, here we go.
For the NABO Junior Welterweight Championship.
Here we go, round 13.
And when we asked the Malignaggi camp about this fight, Lennox, that's what they said. When you asked them, what do you want? Pick up right where we left off in the last one.
Ready.
Very important. I mean, they've got their mindset. They want to do the same thing, but even more.
See who made the adjustment. Remember, you also get the feeling, because of that one bad scorecard by the judge, Gail Van Hoy, you get the feeling that, it turned out to be a draw. I mean, it was a win for Diaz. Could have been a draw, could have been a 1-point win for him, or 1-point win for Malignaggi.
Malignaggi says, I'm too fast for Diaz. I can see everything he's going to do before he does it. Anytime he dips down, I know he's going to come with a punch.
Diaz has more to lose between the two fighters in the sense that he was marketable and still had some big money fights ahead of him. Malignaggi really didn't at that moment because he was beaten badly by Ricky Hatton. And so the Malignaggi camp conceded all of the advantages, ring size, etc., to Diaz. This is yet another payday for Malignaggi on his way to potentially bigger things should he win. But Diaz could get derailed.
We should mention in the first fight, 18 feet by 18 feet inside the ropes. This is 20 feet by 20 feet inside the ropes. Lennox, how big a difference is that 2 feet?
A little bit of difference, especially for a mover like Malignaggi. He can move a little bit more. But he's, in this first round, he's definitely not moving. He's looking to fight. He wants to get out there and throw some punches. Diaz says that in the first fight, he should have moved his head a little bit more. And in this particular fight, he's been working on it. And this is what he wants to do, move that head a bit more and not get caught with Malignaggi's punches.
Yeah, can you really change, though, when you're in your 38th fight? Can you change it that much where it's that effective?
Sure. I mean, you can realize that, look at the fight on tape, realize you should have moved your head a bit more, realize you got hit too much, and say to yourself, this is not going to happen in the next fight.
Meanwhile, it's Malignaggi who looks like he's made an adjustment here from the first fight, the sense that he's moving, but there's no wasted movement. And he's staking out the center of the ring.
And that's true. He's really doing limited movement because he believes in his foot speed and hand speed. So he can say anytime he sees Diaz make a move, his feet are moving already.
Right, like there, Diaz rushed him a little, and Malignaggi played Matador and got out of the way. But otherwise, there he is, flat-footed, just flat-footed enough, it seems, to control the action in the middle.
And it looks like Diaz is trying to work off of Malignaggi's jab, waiting for Malignaggi to jab so he can really work off of it and throw some combinations. I think he's holding back a bit too much right now.
Malignaggi heard some boos when he came in, that he heard the chants of Paulie, and he's one that likes to mug to the crowd, but a good round for Malignaggi.
All right, baby, good job, good job. How you feeling? All right, now listen. Let's get more jabs off this round, okay? Okay. Let's put a little bit more pressure on him, but look, more jabs from me, okay? Okay. That's all I need, just a little bit more jabs. But look, when you get in close, let's start working that body on this guy early, okay? Yeah, we waited a little bit too long for him. Let's take the lead this round, okay? But behind the left hand.
Get to commit. Just be careful, be nice and sharp. Nice and relaxed. Order.
He's going to start going back to his old ways when he realizes it's working.
Yeah.
Okay? You be ready for that. Yep.
If we need to press on that pedal, press on that pedal, okay? You adjust. Deep breath, baby. Deep breath. Beautiful. A little speed on that jab.
Well, according to CompuBox, Malignaggi outlanded Diaz 14-6. 10 of those were jabs. Diaz only threw 8 power shots and landed 2. We begin round number 2.
And Diaz says he wanted to throw more jabs as well because he allowed Malignaggi to throw too much jabs in the first fight, and he said he wanted to jab with a jabber this time, but that first round didn't really show a lot of jabs by Diaz.
He was 4 of 38 on his jabs.
It makes sense to jab with the jabber because the guy's jabbing at you, you might get hit anyway. It's not like a jab's going to knock you out. In the meantime, you can offset the rhythm of the other guy's jab and maybe land some of your own.
Now the chant of Diaz for the Diaz fans here in Chicago. Malignaggi smothering the onslaught from Diaz.
Diaz wants Malignaggi to stay still and fight it out with him, but, you know, Malignaggi's doing the wise thing right now, staying at a distance and scoring from a distance.
You see what Malignaggi's reaction was when Diaz said, "Come on and fight." Malignaggi shook his, nodded like, "Yeah, I'll fight," and then again staked out his ground. And this is nothing new in Malignaggi fights in terms of his early excellence. It's those middle rounds where he sometimes takes some rounds off and the other guy creeps into the fight. Diaz doesn't have that problem. He's consistent.
Left hand by Diaz. There's a glancing blow. Crowd reacts as if it was more than that.
What Diaz should be doing, every time Malignaggi misses with a punch, he should seize that opportunity to counter punch at that time.
Max, to go back to the point you just brought up about sometimes he sort of takes some rounds off, does that have to do with the fact that he's always had hand problems? And let's face it, he does not have a lot of power, and he's trying to pace himself because he knows he can't finish somebody?
Yeah, I mean, the boxers like Malignaggi, who've become great fighters, not just good fighters, have something in them that allows them to maintain that consistency and control of their opponent consistently throughout the fight. That has not yet been Malignaggi in his career.
Cut on the left eye of Diaz, combination from Malignaggi.
And he looks very good early, you know, as usual.
Yeah, Malignaggi is looking very relaxed, very smooth, throwing some good, fast punches, using his feet very well, very confident in this round.
And there in the battle of jabs, they each threw one. It was Malignaggi's that got through. Malignaggi waits out the end of the round. End of 2.
Down, baby. Boxing lesson, he's cut.
How we feeling? Good. Come on, Joe, get in. Come on, get in, get in, get in. Juan, you got to use your jab, okay? Oh, I got it. Here. You got to use your jab, okay? Look.
You know, was it a headbutt?
You got to use your jab, but you got to get close to this guy, okay? You let him run too much now. Look, you got to cut him off.
Mean chant. Deep breath. Deep breath. Easy night. Let's not do extras. Okay? You good? Deep breath.
Referee Gino Rodriguez confirmed with me that the cut on the left eye of Juan Diaz was from a punch.
You know, I'm interested to see how those first 2 rounds were scored because they were clearly Malignaggi rounds. But it's not like Diaz didn't land anything at all. And if you have a judge who's bending over backwards to give a certain guy a round, potentially, from decisions we've seen recently, scorecards, someone could give one of those rounds to Diaz. I'm very curious to see if anyone did because Malignaggi won both those first 2 rounds.
Well, you saw Harold Letterman's scorecard pop up there. He gave the first 2 rounds to Malignaggi.
Harold knows how to score a fight.
I thought he won the first 2. He has been busier, and he's been more accurate.
Go.
And as we mentioned, neither guy really hits hard. I wouldn't say that either one is landing really damaging blows, but Malignaggi has landed more clean shots.
And hooks to the body, uppercut from Malignaggi, then Diaz lands another left and a right hand on top of it.
There, Diaz had a good series.
Yeah, Diaz seized the opportunity. He was close to Malignaggi, and he realized that he needed to throw some punches, and he threw some great combinations right there.
He lured Malignaggi into his kind of fight. You saw at the end of the second round, Malignaggi was standing flat-footed, egging Diaz on to come inside, and Diaz accommodated him there.
Diaz is allowing Malignaggi to be first, and this is how you win a fight. You're always first on the attack, and it looks good to the judges because the judges are going to say you're scoring points, and you're more busier.
Malignaggi shot a left hand as he was going backward, caught the chin of Diaz. Good combination from Malignaggi, right a little bit short.
Let go.
Punch blocked by Diaz. Malignaggi hooked to the body. 2 of the 3 got through there.
Yeah, and even in this round where Diaz had some success early, it's not like Malignaggi wasn't landing anything in return, and since then, Malignaggi started to outland Diaz again.
According to the CompuBox numbers, he's outlanded him 16-8 so far in the round, Malignaggi has. And he's thrown 22 more punches. It's going to be an interesting round as far as the scores when you look at it, because there was that great moment for Diaz in the middle, but you can't discount what Malignaggi's done on either side of it.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting round to score.
Yeah, I give it to Malignaggi.
And maybe that last combination that got in there helped. Diaz scores, they both score.
That's why it's always important to score that, to fight that last 30 seconds. Because it leaves an impression on the judge's mind.
And it's possible I spoke too soon.
You got to stay close to this man. You got the water. Water. Okay. Now listen, you see what your jab is doing for you? You got to keep the jab going at this man all the time. Okay. Just keep stepping in with the jab, but let feint sometime, okay? Now look, he's ducking when you get close to him. So start shooting uppercuts as soon as you get close, okay? And then look.
The jab, and be careful. It's an easy fight. Let's not give him anything. Okay, we're going to give him some stuff. We don't want to do that. Okay, don't play too much. Okay, back on the jab.
And here's the last seconds of that round where Diaz catches Malignaggi with a couple flares of punches, 2 left hands there. Could that have been enough to win that round?
Round 4 begins. Let's check in with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob. I've got it 3-0, 30-27. Paulie Malignaggi. I tell you, Bob, I'm impressed with his boxing. I was impressed in rounds 1. I was impressed in rounds 2. Around 3, Juan Diaz finally got off the stick and landed some shots, but even still, Paulie outboxed him. Paulie Malignaggi is keeping his distance beautifully. I mean, Juan Diaz can't reach him from that distance. Juan has got to get in close to score. Paulie staying away, landing the up jab, landing nice combinations, and every so often dropping a straight right on him. 3-0, Malignaggi.
Well, in that last round, according to CompuBox, Malignaggi landed 12 of 36 power shots. Diaz, in total in the round, landed 12 of 53 punches. Malignaggi threw 28 more in the round.
You know, as much as Paulie Malignaggi talks about how a lot of times Diaz's flurries look good, but they don't really land, and if you really look, Paulie's rolling with the punch. The same thing can be said for Diaz. A lot of times, Paulie's combinations look good, and when you see them in slow motion, he's really not landing anything flush. I think the third round was not easy to score. I agree with Harold's, however.
And Diaz is throwing a lot more jabs, especially he's trying to get in there. As you can see, he's throwing double, triple jabs, but Paulie's feet are just too fast. He's stepping back and he's moving out of the way.
Diaz smothered that little hook to the body before Malignaggi could get extension on it. This has always been a great fight town, Chicago. It's got a great history. And the fans really into this fight with no local rooting interest.
You're looking at two good world-class fighters here. So far, some of the difference, not only Malignaggi's boxing skill, his size. Malignaggi's a real junior welterweight, and Diaz is really a lightweight coming up to junior welter. Malignaggi looks like the bigger, longer fighter to me.
Malignaggi trying to get Diaz to attack so he could possibly counter. Those numbers hold up. Would be the first time that Diaz outlanded Malignaggi in a round to this point. End of the fourth. Another close round.
Beauty. Beauty. Look at me right here. You're looking like $1 million.
December 22nd, Real Sports returns with its annual year-end edition. Join Bryant Gumbel and all the correspondents as they discuss their most interesting and revealing stories from 2009. January 26th sees the return of 24/7, but this time instead of boxing, it's NASCAR. We'll focus on four-time Sprint Cup champion Jimmy Johnson and his teammates as they prepare for the season-opening Daytona 500.
Start busting on that cut. Busting that cut with the right hand. Okay, right hand's left hooks.
There's Olivia Diaz, Juan's mom. Born in Guerra, Mexico. She and Fidencio came to the United States, brought the kids along. Juan and his brother Jose have dual citizenship. Says, my family keeps me grounded. Made sure he got his college education. Graduated from the University of Houston downtown in May of this year with a political science degree. Would like to become a lawyer somewhere down the road. Been studying for his LSATs. Great kid.
And this is what Diaz needs to do. He needs to try and get Malignaggi up against the ropes and work his body, trying to slow him down a little bit more.
See, Malignaggi feels strong. Now he's on his toes a bit, but a lot of this fight, he has not been on his toes. And when he's not on his toes, he gives Diaz these kind of opportunities. Diaz is carrying the round.
That right hand inside. Malignaggi says, I'll trade with you.
Yeah, you know, Malignaggi doesn't need to trade with him at this point. You know, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. What he's been doing so far is been winning him the fight. Now he's making it a bit more even, especially putting himself in danger's way, especially with a big puncher like Diaz.
They exchange a wry smile. El Torito, baby bull. Juan Diaz able to play the role of the bull, and Malignaggi not playing Matador in that last sequence.
Or at least a busy puncher like Diaz, Lennox, if not a big one. You could see part of, Malignaggi feels so comfortable and feels he can mix it up with Diaz that he's doing it. It seems to me almost as a sign that, look, I really feel in control of this fight. But that feeling can betray him because in fighting that way, he lost control of this round.
When you take into account, rounds 3 and round 4, being close rounds that, could go either way. It might not be the kind of control that he really has.
Right.
See, this is the way Malignaggi needs to be fighting. On the move, throwing punches, staying out of range, and connecting with his own punches.
Before this round, I think if you were looking for one to give to Diaz, it would be the third. Diaz landed a lot of good shots in the first half of this round.
And then in the fourth, for the first time in the fight, Diaz actually outlanded Malignaggi, and he's got a sizable lead here in round 5, just in the power connects.
Yep. Well, it didn't seem that way to me in the fourth round, but certainly it's pretty obvious here.
So Malignaggi has yielded some turf, and Diaz has been able to take advantage of it. Diaz showing a little head movement to punctuate the end of the fifth.
Okay, now listen, that was a better round, okay? You know why? Because you got close for the water. Okay? Because you got a little closer. Give me some more water. Look, you got a little closer that time, but look, I want you the whole round keep this sucker pinned to the corner, okay? Look, he has to fight back when you...
You already took his heart away from him, okay? So there's nothing left. Look at me here, okay? Use your jabs over time right now. Hand speed and footwork. I'm not seeing no footwork.
And this is Diaz really throwing some good combinations in there. This is what Malignaggi needs not to be doing, standing in that type of close quarters to allow Diaz to throw his repertoire of punches. Any one punch can get through. Any one of those punches could be a punch that could cause a cut.
Diaz landed 50% of his punches in that round, 24 of 48, 21 of 39 in the power connects.
You heard Malignaggi's corner saying, footwork. I don't see it either from Malignaggi.
Those are kind of some of those rounds, though, where he gets out of his profile and he can lose control of the fight.
Yeah. And fans of both fighters, when they see the slow motion replays, can say, well, those punches by Malignaggi or Diaz, they weren't that devastating. I don't know, but you could say it about both guys. The question is, who's landing the punches?
In the last round, Malignaggi did a poor job with his jab, only 2 of 34. Good body shot by Diaz, and he steps in with a right.
When Malignaggi lands on Diaz, it seems to be over a period of 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Paulie lands a shot, 2 shots, 2 shots, 1 shot. Then Diaz will have extended flurries where he seems to land 5, 6, 8 punches, solid shots to Malignaggi's head.
And that's only when Malignaggi is standing still. Sometimes Malignaggi's focus could be off, and he sits there and plays, and while he's playing, he gets hit by a couple shots.
One minute to go in another round that has its ebbs and flows for each guy. Right hand.
Oh,
is hurt. That right hand
Diaz.
shook Diaz.
In a round, Diaz was winning.
Malignaggi's got him hurt. He's fooling around too much.
Yep.
Go to the body is what you should be doing, not messing around.
Diaz is now losing a round he was winning, I think, based on the fact that he was hurt. But Malignaggi's so unused to hurting his opponent. Bob, as you mentioned, he didn't follow it up.
Well, Malignaggi needs to be overworking that jab right now, keeping Diaz's mind busy on that jab so he can throw other combinations in there. Because when a guy's a little bit fuzzy, he has a little focus problem.
It's one of the reasons why he only has 5 knockouts. He doesn't know how to finish or at least compound the opponent's problem. Don't know the point of any of that.
Okay, but okay. Water. I want you to listen to me this round. Look, I want you to take a round off and just box for me this round. Okay. All I want you to concentrate on is moving your head. Moving your head and using your jab. I don't need a fast round this round, okay? Take the round off, okay? Okay. I want you to take this round off. Listen to me, okay? Take this round off and then look. After this round, we're going for a strong push.
And Malignaggi throws a good uppercut right under Diaz's jab, causes him to flutter a bit with his feet.
Lennox, can you explain after he lands this shot right to the chin and he sees his man hurt, he threw a little flurry, but then he mugged for 25 seconds at the end of the round and did absolutely nothing.
He was really just showboating a little bit, showing Diaz like, oh, I caught you with that one.
Now let me ask you this. You heard, we'll bring in Harold Letterman for his unofficial score first.
Okay, Bob. 59, 55. 5 rounds to 1, Paulie Malignaggi. I tell you something, I think it was a shame what he did in round 6. I mean, he had Juan Diaz hurt. He should have jumped on him and not clowned. But Paulie Malignaggi, his natural ability is to clown, and that's all there is to it. As far as Ronnie Shields goes, I don't know what he's thinking about. His guy's losing a fight, he's telling him to take a round off. That's absolute nonsense. I mean, that's terrible advice from the corner. There's no excuse for it. Absolutely none. Juan Diaz has got to press, he's got to get inside, he's got to score. 5-1, Malignaggi.
Well, Harold, while you and I have the same score at the moment, but there may be some wisdom in it in the sense that Diaz was hurt with an uppercut coming in last round, and maybe Shields just wants a round for him to get that out of his system, although the replay showed that he wasn't hurt as badly as maybe we thought at first.
Bob Papa, Lennox Lewis, Max Kellerman, ringside in Chicago. Paulie Malignaggi and Juan Diaz in their rematch from their controversial fight in August. Victor Ortiz incurred a cut on the left eye of Antonio Diaz in our first fight. Diaz did not answer the bell for the start of the 7th round. And still to come in its entirety from Bern, Switzerland, we will show you Vitaly Klitschko's heavyweight championship defense against Kevin Johnson. Lennox, have you ever had a trainer tell you just take the round off, especially in a close fight?
No, my trainer tells me to take a round off after I've been winning a fight. So if I'm winning all the way through, he say, okay, take a round off, and then we'll start it up the next round.
It's also not necessarily in the temperament of Juan Diaz as he keeps coming forward. That's his style.
He seems to be working pretty hard for a guy taking a round off. You know, when Malignaggi clowns, it's a signal. Look, I'm so in control here, I'm able to do this. It's like when a fighter gets behind his opponent, spins him around, gets behind him. Look how fast I am, I can get behind you. But the better way for Malignaggi to demonstrate how in control he is by landing punches. And when he doesn't do that, you know, he could be down in this fight for all we know.
See, Diaz doesn't want this fight in the center of the ring, so he needs to make it more of a fight on the ropes, where he sees Malignaggi, or forces Malignaggi to be moving a lot more and hitting Malignaggi to the body, trying to get to that body, trying to break him down, especially there's a few rounds left, so he still needs to really pick up the pace.
To the 7th round, busier round for Malignaggi and more accurate. So they get a look at Vladimir Klitschko waiting for his brother Vitaly to fight. That man, Kevin Johnson, watching the hand wraps in Bern, Switzerland. Johnson, 30 years of age, from Asbury Park, New Jersey, fighting out of Atlanta. He's 22-0-1 with 9 knockouts. The biggest test in his career coming up tonight. Coming off a May 15th win against Devin Vargas, which Vargas took the fight on 9 days' notice, and Johnson stopped him in round number 6. But it's a big step up in class tonight in Switzerland as he takes on Vitaly Klitschko.
He's sitting down too much. Rhythm, get on your toes now. He's done. Okay? So, you hear me? Focus now.
Here in the corner of Malignaggi, they're saying he's sitting down too much. That means, you know, when Diaz comes and throws punches at him, Malignaggi takes 2 steps and he kind of sits down, and then Diaz catches up with him, and then he throws his repertoire of punches and catches him and scores the points.
So what should he do?
Well, he needs to just stay on his toes like his corner says, and, you know, look like Muhammad Ali.
Again, he tried to land that right hand inside. Short right got in. This is where Diaz wants to fight, but Malignaggi's smart there. Holds him. Now they reset to the middle, which is not advantageous for Diaz.
Here you see Malignaggi landing clearly the more effective punches, more cleanly than Diaz. And yet, some of the clowning in the corner, it's not impossible to imagine that that's held against him, especially when Diaz seems eager to work.
Malignaggi goes to the body. Diaz tries to go to the body. A little low.
Some boxers will hit low and allow the referee to warn them one time, but that may hinder his opponent a little, and in this case Malignaggi hindered him a little bit.
Also, Malignaggi does a lot of jumping around as he tries to move away, and then he goes airborne. He changes his belt line too.
Yeah, I think Diaz is trying to slow him down with that punch.
That's a good point, Bob.
When Malignaggi kind of stands in the middle of the ring, now he moves away, but in the sequence before, he stands in and he kind of just turns. Isn't that where Diaz has to put punches together and jump on him like here?
Yeah. Hit him to the body. Hit him anywhere he can hit him. Not really just be a headhunter, but he's got a whole body to hit and mix up the punches. Make Malignaggi think about what's coming at him.
All these punches are getting blocked. Good left hand to the body by Diaz. A lot of clean shots, volume, a lot of blocks, a lot of misses as we come to the end of round 8.
Sit down right here. Listen to me. Listen to me. Okay, listen to me. I got the cup. Look at me. Okay, you're falling into his game right now, and we don't need that bullshit right now because we're ahead. Okay?
Why to just take a rest? You understand? You don't need no rest. You ain't great shape. Hey, Ralph. Hey, Ralph.
I showed you the punch numbers. Now let's take a look at where Paulie Malignaggi has done most of his work. And you see 49 up around the eye area. He's gotten 45 on the chin. He's able to land that right hand to the body a little bit. He's landing at total in the fight at 23%, landing his power shots at 22%. Malignaggi has. As you get a look at punch zone, trying to bring you inside the numbers here in Chicago. Round number 9 begins, scheduled for 12.
You see the issue with scoring in this fight. I thought Malignaggi won the first 2 rounds, but there have been, talk about swing rounds that can decide a fight that could go either way. There have been a bunch of them, I think, and I've given most of them to Malignaggi, but I could understand certainly reasonable people could disagree. People giving them to Juan Diaz. And so at this point in the fight, you imagine there are probably some close scorecards.
You look at rounds 3 and 4 just to highlight 2 of them.
Yeah. And 7 and 8.
Malignaggi pumping out that jab as he backs away from Diaz, trying to get to the right range for him.
And this is working in Malignaggi's favor because what he's doing is getting off first all the time. Every time there's a clinch or something and they come back to fight, Malignaggi always starts it off with his jab. There it goes again, start off that jab. So he's always being first. In a fight, if you're first and you're last, you're winning that fight.
Max, and you look at Diaz when he had those 7 defenses of his lightweight title, he was always the busier guy, the guy with the high volume, but in these fights with Malignaggi, he's the one that gets outworked.
That's to Malignaggi's credit, working more consistently than he has in the past, and also, though he's done it more in this fight, in the last fight, and also often throughout this fight, he's not giving Diaz a stationary target to hit.
And Diaz is not one of those boxers that really want to use their jab all the time. Malignaggi is the boxer that uses his jab all the time. And then when you get both of them together, Diaz may feel that, oh, Malignaggi has a better jab than me, so, I'm comfortable trying to get him to his body. But this time he said he wants to work on his jab. He wants to jab with a jabber, and you can tell he's improved with his jab in this particular fight compared to the first one.
And Malignaggi's also a natural junior welterweight, as I mentioned earlier, half a division, so to speak. Bigger than Diaz.
That cut's opened up a little bit on the left eye of Diaz. Again, Malignaggi, to illustrate that point, 18 more punches thrown here in the round. He's out-connected him 11-6 according to CompuBox at this point.
Malignaggi said he's been doing a little bit of sparring and he got a little nick over his eye, but in this fight it didn't seem to bother him and it didn't seem to open up.
That's what I'm talking about now. That's my Paulie. That's my Paulie.
All night long.
That's the Paulie we know. Look at me, folks. Okay? Easy word.
Pull it out.
Easy word. You hear me? Easy work. Deep breath. Deep breath. This is the 10th coming up.
Coming up to 10 right now.
Okay, baby, let's go now. Let's fucking take it and run, go home with it. Okay, it's our time, it's our Christmas. You hear me? He had his Christmas over there. It's over. Let's touch him.
So listen, look, you got to get this guy, and you got to go behind your jab, number one. Number two is, you got to just bum rush this guy now, okay? We can't wait on the outside no more. You let him run too much.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Use your feints and go in. You got to go in.
And one, you'll stop it and then
Yeah. Don't let this...
Come on. Why not? Yes, we can.
Round number 10 begins for Juan Diaz and Paulie Malignaggi. No knockdowns in the fight. Let's check in with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob. 87-84, 6 rounds to 3, Paulie Malignaggi. Bob, I really understand now why he wanted a big ring. I mean, this guy is the essence of ring generalship. Talking about Paulie Malignaggi. He uses that big ring beautifully to keep Juan Diaz at a distance where Juan Diaz can't get inside and score with those hard shots. Paulie stays on the outside. He throws that up jab. Every so often he throws a combination, drops the right hand on him, and is totally outboxing him. Juan Diaz got inside nicely to win rounds 8 and 9 with hard shots. But basically, it's Malignaggi using that big ring. 6-3, Paulie Malignaggi.
And I asked Diaz about that ring. Does it affect him? He says he trains in a big ring all the time, so he's used to a 20-foot ring.
you can tell the way a fight's going. And I actually thought Malignaggi won the last round. Although there were a couple rounds earlier that I gave to Malignaggi, I could understand someone giving to Diaz. So I have it pretty wide for Malignaggi at this point. But you listen to what the corners say in between rounds. In Diaz's corner after the last round, it was you have to get inside. Malignaggi's corner, it was keep doing that. Earlier, when Malignaggi let Diaz back into the fight, it seemed, Diaz's corner was like more of that, and Malignaggi's corner was saying stuff like, get back on your toes.
And Malignaggi has controlled the action, as Harold pointed out, and we've all kind of pointed out. He's used that ring, he's turned away from a lot of the punches, and Diaz never really able to get consistent workflow going.
And with scoring controversies, it's not an issue that it's a competitive fight and one guy has a wide scorecard in what seems like an evenly matched fight. The controversy comes where you have...
Oh, they're counting that a knockdown.
No, I didn't understand that one unless his glove touched the ground.
I don't believe it did.
Even so, it seemed like a slip in the middle of the ring on the Tecate sign.
Well, if you get hit and you're off balance, I've never seen that before, where a referee gives you an 8 count because you slipped or your balance is off.
And there's no standing 8 count. In the rules, there's no standing 8 count. So unless that glove hit the ground, I don't believe his glove did touch the ground.
Well, if his glove hit the ground, he's supposed to wipe it off first. So it didn't touch the ground.
So it's been ruled a knockdown here at the end of round number 10.
All right, brother, how we feeling? How we feel? Good. Okay, now listen to me. All right?
Yeah.
Look, stop rushing in. You're just rushing in now. Okay? You got to go in behind your jab, Juan. Okay? You got to set things up. Okay? You have to set things up. You set it up behind your jab. When he jabbing, you got to keep jabbing with him. But when you get...
Keep him moving. That's it. We're going now down the stretch. Okay? Let's call him like we did in Texas. You hear me? Yeah. Okay. Deep breath.
All right, let's take a look at it right here. It was ruled a knockdown. It's behind the head, puffing. Wow. I mean, did that glove really touch the ground? And well, that's not a punch that should even been ruled.
No, it didn't touch the ground. He actually got hit behind the head, lost his balance. The referee should have really just said, you know, no hitting behind the head, and turned him around and made him box again.
I mean, it looked like the glove may have touched, but it was from a punch that was from behind the head.
Yeah, it was a cuff. He got pulled down. Diaz should not have been ruled a knockdown, obviously.
And you know, sometimes when Malignaggi throws that wide right hand, he slips to that side, so it gives him a get out when he throws that right hand.
But incidentally, about that, because it was scored a knockdown and Malignaggi appeared to have won the round, you just saw Harold's card, 10-8. You're compelled to give him the extra point. But controversial scoring, getting back to that theme for a moment, arises when there are definitive rounds that fighter A wins, and yet fighter B is awarded those rounds anyway. When you can point to specific rounds, you know one guy won, but they gave it to the other guy.
Left hand by Diaz.
You saw that last week in the Sergio Martinez-Paul Williams fight.
Diaz with a double left.
Diaz should be throwing that double left hook for sure.
Paulie's looking over at us saying, I blocked it. Just worry about the fight.
Right, we know you blocked it, Paulie, but you don't get points. It's not like you hit Diaz.
And it's not as if the first one didn't land.
Right,
the second one was blocked.
We've seen them both block and slip punches tonight. We've also seen them both land. Here at ringside, it seems we've seen Malignaggi land more, but everyone may not feel that way.
Chant of Diaz again as the Diaz fans trying to rally Juan Diaz. Diaz steps in with a right hand that snaps back the head of Malignaggi.
You know, with Malignaggi's long hair, too, when he gets hit, I don't necessarily think Diaz is hitting him any harder than he's hitting Diaz, but the sweat flies. And it looks good. It looks like a bigger punch.
Malignaggi ducks away from danger there as Diaz tries to apply the pressure. Both exchange stiff jabs.
Talking to us ringside is also a way of Malignaggi showing, look, I'm able to do something because I'm so in control of the fight I really shouldn't be able to do. I can take my attention off of Diaz. That doesn't score you any points either.
And that big wide hook from Diaz as Malignaggi picks off most of it.
If you look at Paulie Malignaggi's hairdo, he's got Paulie in the back.
Well, still to come, the Post Finance Arena in Bern, Switzerland. An electric atmosphere for the heavyweight title fight as Vitaly Klitschko makes the third defense of his portion of the heavyweight championship against Kevin Johnson. You'll see it next here on Boxing After Dark.
They can see for themselves. Okay, we got to stick to our game plan. Last round, okay, champ? Last round, let's box the shit out of him. Okay?
But listen, I don't want you running in, Juan. Okay, you keep your head up. Use your fingers before you go in there. Okay, but look, I need you to keep low. Sometimes double that hook up, then double the right hand up behind the hook. Okay? But you got to stay close.
Now, let's box.
Nice deep breath.
Nice boxing lesson. Now, moving, dance around, touch.
Put your hands together. This is the 12th and final round.
According to CompuBox, Malignaggi has landed 32 more punches than Diaz. He's been busier. We'll see how it unfolds in round 12. Lennox, for Diaz, who's never recorded a knockout past the 9th round, how does he seize control of this last round?
He's got to let it all hang out this last 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes right now. Find some way of trying to get to Malignaggi without running in and getting caught with punches himself.
You know, that controversial cuff behind the head ruled a knockdown could be a huge factor in these cards, which could be closer than maybe we see it.
You know, there should be a remedy for that.
Yeah, replay.
Yeah. But maybe... The sport is already too subjective. You like objective scoring criterion, but maybe that should go into the rules as a subjective score. In other words, if a guy gets credited with a knockdown, but you can clearly see it wasn't, as a judge, maybe you shouldn't be forced to give him the extra point.
Referee warning Paulie Malignaggi with his elbow. He's been using his elbow a little bit. So the referee thinks. I haven't seen too much of it.
A couple times, but I've seen both guys do it with short crosses inside where the elbows come in.
Sometimes it's a defensive move. You're trying to get your hand up and your elbow comes up to try and block the other guy's punch.
Well, Diaz doing some good work here.
So much for all the boxing that Malignaggi was supposed to do. He's in Diaz's wheelhouse.
Diaz is winning the round.
Doubles the left hand. Malignaggi blocked it. Right scored by Diaz. Malignaggi tries to come back with an uppercut inside. 1 minute to go.
Oh, I understand what Malignaggi's doing with that elbow now. What he's doing is trying to push off Diaz, and he's using the elbow, but sometimes it can be judged as a punch.
Malignaggi counters with the left after Diaz scored to the body.
This is shaping up as a 7-5, 8-4 type fight for Malignaggi with the unfortunate extra point. See how the judges have to say.
Good round 12 for Diaz. Great end, fun fight. Now the real drama begins. Judges scoring.
I think the worst thing they can say is this fight's a draw.
Cut over the left eye of Diaz, never a huge factor in this fight. Joe Chavez did a good job handling that. See Harold Lennerman's scorecard, 115-112. At round 10, that controversial ruled knockdown. How will that factor in? Remember, there are some rounds 3 and 4 and 7, tight rounds. As you take a look at the judges, Mauro Di Fiore from Illinois won title fight. His notable Adamek's decision over Briggs, scored a draw. Thomas Miller from Ohio, 35 title fights. Cotto's decision over Clottey, he had it for Clottey. And Michael Pernick from Florida, 47 title fights, and Dawson's decision over Johnson in their second fight. He had it for Dawson, 115-113. All right, let's go back to round number 10, where the controversy was, Lennox. And here is the ruled knockdown. You see Malignaggi cuff him from behind. Diaz, looks like the glove just touched. That was ruled a knockdown by Gino Rodriguez, thus making it potentially a 10-8 round for Malignaggi.
But I'm saying, if the glove touched, then the referee's supposed to wipe it off and say, okay, the glove did touch the canvas, and you're going to get an 8.
Well, I think he did eventually clean it off, but Harold, that's where replay would really come in handy after the round.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If we had instant replay, they could have seen that he didn't knock him down. It was a cuff behind the head. He threw him down. I mean, without question, instant replay would have fixed that. It wouldn't have been a knockdown. Even if his glove touched, it wouldn't have made a difference. It wasn't by a legal punch.
All right, you could have reviewed it in 10 seconds in between the rounds. All right, correct. Let's see how the judges had this one scored. Here's Joe Antonacci.
Boxing fans, after 12 rounds of action for the NABO Junior Welterweight Championship, we go to the judges' scorecards. And all three of our judges, Mauro Di Fiore, Thomas Miller, and Michael Pernick, score the bout 116-111 for the winner. And the new NABO Junior Welterweight Champion of the World from Brooklyn, New York, Paulie, the Magic Man, Malignaggi.
You saw before the decision and then after the decision the wink of sportsmanship between the two. They like each other. Paulie's a great showman. But you look at the final punch numbers and you see Malignaggi throwing 802 punches. The connect percentage not as good, but he was busier and he used his jab to control the action throughout the course of the fight. And, you take a look at this fight, Lennox, and you look at these numbers and the way it all unfolded. The busyness of Malignaggi was able to offset Diaz. Diaz wanted to jab with the jabber, but you see that Malignaggi threw, 172 more.
And, he was very confident this fight. From round 1, he showed his dominance, especially using that jab and, the quickness that he had not only with his hands but with his feet. And he used the ring wisely, and he didn't allow himself to be put up against the ropes. So he did a good job this fight.
Yeah, he certainly did, and he also landed 67 of his 322 power shots. You see that he was able to concentrate on the head and distributed it well with not only his jabs but his power shots. Diaz did not, in my opinion, go to the body enough, Lennox. 35 body connects. That's how you slow down a guy like Malignaggi that wants to move. A steady attack to the body might have helped Diaz a little bit more as you take a look at the punch zone.
Yeah,
all right.
It was a little difficult for him. He was trying to get to the body, but every time he was trying to get to the body, he was getting hit with jabs and with Malignaggi's fast punches.
All right, let's send it up into the ring with Max Kellerman.
Congratulations, Paul. Ringside, I had it 8-4. All three judges had it 8-4. You got a fair shake. What do you have to say?
I gotta say, I told you so. I just needed a fair shake. I want to give props to Juan Diaz. He fought a great fight. I know we had a lot of venom to spew at each other before that, but he always brings out my respect to him every time we get in there and fight. He fought like a warrior. I also want to say to those critics and cynics out there, all those haters, all you punks that said I was finished, calling me a has-been last year at this time. Last year at this time, you thought I was done. Okay, I want to thank Sharif Yunan. He brought me all the way back, and I have a big 2010.
Let's talk about the way you fought this fight. You were saying that in the past, Buddy McGirt had you flat-footed, not moving your upper body. It seemed tonight you were more flat-footed early than we've seen you recently.
I don't want to badmouth Buddy. I'm not going to get into that. I think he's a good trainer for certain styles. He just wasn't good for me, but I think Buddy can help a lot of fighters out. Having said that, Juan didn't pressure me early on, so I didn't feel the need to give ground. As you know, we were talking about that yesterday. Judges sometimes don't like the guy going backwards, so I said if I don't have to go backwards, I'm not going to go backwards, you know? He wasn't pressuring me early on, so I decided to hold my ground until I saw too much pressure, and then I could box him going backwards. Either way, my hands were faster than him.
Okay, Paulie, let's assume for a second, looking forward, that Ricky Hatton is not going to be in your immediate future. We all know that's the fight you want. Who would you like to be in your immediate future?
First of all, I want to say there's a lot of great fighters in this weight class. A lot of good young champions. Victor Ortiz fought a good fight tonight. You got Darren Alexander, who's a good fighter and a title holder. Amir Khan's a good fighter and a title holder. Tim Bradley and Lamont Peterson fought tonight also on the show, but they're great fighters. I'd like to fight Juan Manuel Marquez, since everybody's saying he should fight Ricky Hatton, and the winner can fight Hatton. I'll go to England and fight Hatton, but I want to overlook somebody like Marquez. That would be, if I had it my way, and I could get my genie and wish on something, I would wish for Marquez first, and the winner is the eliminator to fight Hatton. I'm telling you, with Sharif in my corner, I'll beat Hatton worse than he beat me, and I say that with the utmost respect for Ricky. There's not anything bad-mouthing him. This is just as a competitor. I'm telling you, I'll beat Ricky easy.
Thanks, Paulie, and congratulations. Bob?
Max, thanks, Ross Greenberg at HBO.